Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. Next year all our troubles will be miles away.
Hi, and welcome to the Comfy Red Couch. My name is Tracy, and I'm your host. And today is day 2 of Vlogmas. So what I am doing is I'm going to do a very potted version of the podcast today. So a potted podcast. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm drinking. I'm going to show you some projects that I've been up to the past week and talk about some that I can't show you quite yet tomorrow. And I'm going to share some yarn that came into my house this week. So first off, we'll do some tea. I am drinking out of my silly old bear mug, which is an oldie and definitely a goodie. And today I am drinking Bears Like Marmalade. So Bears Like Marmalade. There's the bear. Tracy likes marmalade. So today seems like a good time to try that. It's a very fruity tea. No caffeine in here today, although I am needing some. So I think I'll finish this cup, and then when I am editing later on, I will put some real caffeine in this cup because I'm needing a shot of some black tea right now. But this one has rose hips and fruit and just marmalade-y type of tea things. So anyway, cheers to the week ahead and cheers to December. We are finally there. I am going to, with the podcasts through December, just pare them down as best as I can, share what I maybe didn't cover during the week because I'm covering more lifestyle-y type of things, although I'm sure I will cover some yarny things. Tomorrow there's going to be a sock release, so I'll probably mention it at some point. But for the most part, I think I'm going to keep the headings down and just try and power through, keep the podcast as short as possible. If you are new to the Comfy Red Couch, welcome. I know yesterday in my Vlogmas, I just jumped straight in. I didn't introduce myself, nothing. It was jump straight in and let's open up Advents because I've been waiting a long time. So as I said, my name is Tracy. I am Tracy RR on Ravelry, and I am Comfy Red Couch on Instagram. If you are new, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. You know I always love having you. I know you've got your spot here because you are excited to see what I have to share, and I am finally able to share the project that had been living in the Nancy Drew bag way back when. And if you've looked at Instagram, you know what that project looks like. But first off, I'm going to quickly talk about some projects that didn't get much love this week. This is the pattern from Ambrose Smith, who is Ambrose Knits on Instagram, and this is the Nemesis sock pattern. I shared my half-finished object last week. I am using the Hogwarts High Inquisitor yarn for this. It's very dark, and I have not started the second sock yet, so that is still in the bag waiting to be started. But I did want to mention that the Nemesis socks, and I believe Amber has a few more patterns that are also going to be released, and that will be on Tuesday. So Ambrose Knits on Instagram, and I think she's also Ambrose Knits on Ravelry as well. So that was what didn't get any love. Another project that I haven't started yet, but I plan to cast on today, is my Christmas Eve cast on test knit. I shared both of the yarns I'm going to use, but right now I'm only going to share the one because that's the only one that's wound up. This is Viola, and this is called Black Lodge, and I will be knitting up the Christmas Eve cast on pattern by Danny of Little Bobbins. Sometime today I'm going to cast this on, and I am hoping to power through this one because I want to get notes to Danny so that she can release this as soon as possible. But it is living in my lovely Little Bobbins bag. It is sparkly. The green sparkle yarn by Tracy of Nora George. That colorway is called Fur, and I believe Tracy's put some fur in the shop this past week. F-I-R, not F-U-R. And I'm not sure if she's got it on the sparkle base, but she's got lots of beautiful tonals that she put in this on the shop update yesterday, so on Saturday. Anyway, I am not sure whether I'm going to wind up the whole skein and then just knit from that and then have the leftovers, or whether I'm just going to pull off what I need. I haven't decided, so that's why it's not wound and it's not put in there. The next project that I am going to share with you has some little strands of yarn that belong to the project I'm going to share after, or talk about after. So this is the release from Knit Vent 2018, the very last release, and this is the Frost at Midnight cowl by Helen Stewart, who is Curious Handmade. And I also want to mention that Helen is just finishing up the last touches on her first book. So she's self-publishing a book, which is the Shawl Society Series 1, or the Year 1. And I may have a giveaway that I will talk about soon. But I'm not sure when, but I will be hosting a giveaway for the book and also a Shawl Society pin. I used 2 yarns for Frost at Midnight, and this is the Cascade Ecological Wool, and it's a huge skein of yarn, and this is all I had left of this. I also held it double, so I held this double, so it was thicker, and then I also held it with another doubled yarn, so 4 strands, and that was the Hedgerow Fluff, and that was a mohair. It's all gone, and I'll talk about the projects, because I was able to get 2 out of this big, huge skein, and just a slight shortage on the fluff. So I have 2 of these, and this is the Frost at Midnight cowl. This is also the Frost at Midnight cowl. So I was able to really use my yarn well. And I'm going to have to figure out which one was the first one. It's not hard. This is the first one I did. And I made a mistake. I have an extra round here. I was playing with needles, trying to figure out if I could go down to a smaller size cable, and I think I didn't hit the clicker, and I realized a few rows up that I had 1 extra round here. So it makes it unique. So there's a little mistake in this one. And this one, I was going along really, really well. And as I was binding off, I ran out of yarn. So just on the bind off, so there's a little tiny section there. And what I did was I cut the doubled yarn, because I was pulling from the middle and the outside. So when I got to the end, I would have had them connected. And what I ended up doing was just cutting it so it turned into 1 strand, and then I was able to actually take it all the way out. So there is 1 strand of mohair in the bind off little section there. So I am calling these 2 cowls 2 Rons, and that's because when I was growing up, my father was telling a story about when he went to the schoolyard to pick my sisters up. He was standing talking to the principal, who was named Ron, and my father, his name is Ron as well. And someone came up to them and said, 2 Rons don't make a right. So 2 Rons, one with an extra round and the other with a tiny shortage of yarn. So 2 Rons don't make a right, but they do make 2 really fantastic gifts. So this is the Frost at Midnight cowl, and it'll be nice and snuggly. These are both going to be gifts. I think I'm actually going to give them to both of my sisters. So 2 Rons don't make a right to both of my sisters. who my dad was picking up from the schoolyard that day. Anyway, they are squishy. They are definitely a quick knit, and I think the first one I did in a day, and the second one I did over a couple of days just because I had some other things going. But you can see there's a little bit of a halo from the mohair, and just nice, squishy, and these will be a lovely warm gift for sure. So that is what was living in my So Sweet Violet Advent bag from last year. I shared my Advent bag from this year on the podcast yesterday, or the Vlogmas yesterday, and mine is a beautiful flamingo bag with stars. And I don't know why, flamingos kind of remind me of Christmas, so and just really reminds me of my trip to Florida this year, and I was looking and touching the velvet on that bag today. Love it. I love it. So the next project that I was working on this week was living in my lovely fat squirrel bag. And I was using Elm Tree Yarns, and this is Blackbird Nest. And I held it, well, I didn't hold it double. I knit also with twig, and you can see I don't have much twig left over, maybe enough for a bird to make, to put into their nest. But these colors are gorgeous. So these are for the socks that will be released tomorrow in the last release of the Handmade Sock Society. So that will be the Monday release. I love, love, love them. I finished them about 1 a.m. this morning and soaked them, got them on the wires, the blocking sock blockers, and I'm hoping to take some photographs when they're dry later this afternoon because, I was cutting it a little bit close. But this yarn, oh my goodness, it looks amazing on the Handmade Sock Society pattern. But you may have also seen this yarn this week used in a lovely new pattern that was released by Danny of Little Bobbins, or who is Little Bobbins. Danny, and now we're going into finished objects. Danny wrote up a beautiful sock pattern called Feathering the Nest. And Danny used this yarn combination, and back in the summertime, she sent me a message asking if I might consider test knitting. Yes, please. These are the Feathering the Nest sock pattern, or socks, by Danny of Little Bobbins. And I used Nora George, and I used the colorway Macaron, and Macaron had a mini. And look at that gorgeous little rim, like the rim of a nest, of that pink, and this gorgeous pink mini toe. These have been so hard to keep secret, and I know Nancy let a few things out of the bag, like the yarn I used, but oh my goodness, I can finally wear them. I'm so excited, and I think they have turned out beautifully. And I have to tell you, I'm not supposed to have favorites, but this has been one of my favorite sock patterns to knit this year. And the yarn I chose, I just love it. And it looks fantastic in the Elm Tree Yarns as well. But I wanted to go with something a little bit different than Danny had gone with. And I am loving these. And tomorrow, I am going to wear my new Feathering the Nest socks. So I'm so happy I can finally share this with you. So this was a Nora George Yarns. It was Super Sock. It is Macaron is the main colorway. And then that mini, it doesn't have a name, but it's just called Gorgeous Pink as far as I can tell. But oh, look at the texture. It was nice on Thursday morning. I got a message from Danny saying, I don't know what came over me. I've decided to publish Feathering the Nest. So I, of course, was into my photo library because I took photos of these ages ago, and I was just so happy to finally be able to share these on Instagram. And oh, as I said, I cannot wait to wear these, but oh, feathering the nest. I do have to say something kind of interesting happened with this pair of socks. I had forgotten that for sock 1, I had used my Addy Flexi Flips for sock 1, and then when I knit sock 2, I used my Hiya Sharps, my circular. And in fact, sock 1 is just a tiny bit bigger. I guess my gauge was a lot looser with the Flexi Flips than sock 2. So it'll all work out in the wash. They will. This one will stretch a little bit, I'm sure. But yeah, it's really important to use the same needle for sock 1 as you do for sock 2. But they are still both beautiful, beautiful socks. Anyway, I'm looking forward to wearing these tomorrow. And as I said, I love that little feature with the different color at the top. So that is all I have to share for my favorite things segment, and I'm going to move into brown paper packages. The mail system is up and running again, and things are slowly trickling through the door. And I had some gorgeous yarn arrive from Tracy of Nora George Yarns. And this is Jingle Juice. So this is the colorway Jingle Juice, and this is on Super Sock. And Tracy had posted this on her Instagram, and I just fell in love with this colorway. And I'm not sure why. I sort of sat back during the update a bit because I thought, I don't need any more yarn. But I was looking at photographs of Joji Locatelli's Elton cardigan, and I thought how lovely it would be in this with a mohair. Either I would like a light pink, maybe similar, or even, and I'm going to say it, even a gold, like a yellowy gold. I know, me, yellow, would look really amazing with this in the Elton. So I ordered 3 skeins, which were the last 3 skeins of the Super Sock, and I'm really glad I did. When it came through the mail the other day, I just, oh, so beautiful. Very crinkly still. But yeah, I'm going to try and make some cardigans. This year I really made a lot of socks, but I want to try and get some sweaters and cardigans done. So Jingle Juice has been allotted for an Elton. The next thing that came through the door was Friday afternoon, and we're going into spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I am going to share with you the Christmas at Hogwarts colorway from a homespun house. So if you do not want to see the Christmas colorway and the super miniature, cover your eyes, cover your ears, run screaming out of the room, do what you need to do, because I am going to share some pretty yarn. And as I said, this is the Christmas at Hogwarts colorway, and it is very, very festive looking. There's some interesting change in the colorway up here. It's very, very plummy, mulberry, and then it's got a bit of the brown there. And then the mini is a very, very Christmassy green. So that is the Christmas at Hogwarts colorway. So I'm not sure what I will make with these. They would make a beautiful, beautiful pair of Christmas socks. We shall see. And the lovely little Sucre miniature. Now, here we would call it a dessert, but I believe that it's probably a pudding. And it is a little chocolate pudding. So a yummy little treat. It's making me a little bit hungry now, with icing sugar on the top and a cherry and a beautiful little green holly decoration. So that is the Sucre miniature that came with the Homespun House Christmas at Hogwarts package. Stop the edit, kind of like stop the presses. While I was editing, a package arrived. It is Sunday delivery time from Canada Post. You can see I've already actually covered over the comfy red couch for the week. I went with the green and blue instead of the red this week, but I received a package, and it is another spoiler alert package, but we're already in spoiler alert mode right now. And it is another package from a homespun house. It is my Harry Potter Yarn and Charm Club from October, November, December. This is the November one. I had mentioned a few weeks ago when I received the last or the first installment of the club that I got hit with major duty, and that's because Molly had accidentally put the whole price of the club down as the amount that was owing, and I did contact her because I was a little bit nervous that the November and December clubs would also be given the same price, and then I'd be hit by duty again. And she apologized. She didn't realize it had been a mistake that had happened on their part, but unfortunately the way that the receipt was written up, I probably could have taken it to customs, but I didn't. Anyway, we are going to open a brown paper package fresh from the mailman. And it's always exciting when you're sitting in the mail truck pulls up in front of the house. And this is the November colorway. And it is very crinkly. Oh, it's pretty. And it is very pink. Now I'm going to have to open this, so there's going to be some more crinkling happening so we can see what the super miniature looks like. I was editing, and I was just at the point where I was adding in the Hogwarts, the Christmas at Hogwarts, and I thought, let's add this one in too. So you're getting a little bit more bang for your sitting buck. So this one, I'm going to need to put my glasses on. Here they are so I can read it. I find the script really hard to read on all these labels. This is November 2018, Liquid Luck. And this, oh my gosh, look at that. So pretty. That is definitely Liquid Luck in yarn form. Pretty. And the Sucra miniature. Oops, oh no, I dropped it. That is not good. And then the box. Oh goodness. It is so sparkly. I love it. This is the Liquid Luck, and it is shimmery, shiny. It's like a gold matcha with whipped cream on top. My goodness, I love it. I love it. And I think it's got the rose gold clasp on it, so I don't know if it's focusing. Sparkly drink. So Liquid Luck in charm and yarn form. Okay, let's take the glasses off and let's continue editing because, yeah, it's important to share fun things that arrive in the mail on Brown Paper Packages Day. I have one more thing to share with you before I finish Vlogmas 2 off, and that is that I'm going to a workshop this upcoming Friday. Emily of Viola Yarns is holding some workshops in Toronto, and I will be doing the Star Map embroidery workshop. And I need to, at some point this week, and I'm not sure when I'm going to fit it in, create a swatch so that we can practice embroidery on it. And I'm going to use the yarn I used for the 5th Shawl Society, and this is the, oh my goodness, my brain has gone on a holiday. This is Shalimar yarns, and this is the Breathless Lace. So very thin, and I need to make a swatch at some point this week in the round, and I thought I would use this yarn because it's maybe a tiny bit heavier than the mohair, but it will be good to practice embroidery on. So that's what I'm going to be doing on Friday night. I've been signed up for a few weeks and I keep forgetting to mention it on the podcast. So I am looking forward to that. And so I'm going to, at some point, make a swatch so that I can use it for the embroidery workshop. But for creation, for things that are coming into the house, that is all this week. I am wishing you a happy Vlogmas Day 2. I will see you at some point tomorrow. I have an idea of what I'm going to do. I'm going to have Isaac on my vlog tomorrow. And for now, I am going to say have a wonderful day. I'm going to finish off my Bears Like Marmalade and edit. And then I am going to have a cast-on party for my Christmas Eve cast-on December 2nd. I was hoping to do it yesterday, but I was still working on tomorrow's lovely socks that are now off the needles, and I cannot wait to share with you also tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Through the years, we all will be together. If the fates allow, hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry